we're going to end the year strong here on the Jerry Papandrea channel. Thank you so much for your support throughout 2024, before, beyond. We got a lot in store for this live stream and going ahead into 2025. What I wanted to do today was actually start with a little bit of a recap of the videos that I worked on this year. There was kind of a little bit of a seismic shift in terms of my content strategy through the year, and we ended up pulling back on long form videos and doing a little bit more shorts and live streams. So what I want to do is kind of talk about that and how that'll work into the strategy for 2025. So if you're here, make sure you hit a thumbs up on the video. Make sure it makes it go out to more people, and let's get into it. So here is my YouTube channel, and I'm going to use this to kind of go over, where we started the year and where we finished the year, and we'll go through the different types of content, and it'll be a little bit behind the scenes. I'll give you some production notes from some of these videos, and some of the behind the scenes kind of things that happen to make these happen. So first up this year, we actually started with a video from the Philadelphia playlist. This was a brunch place that my wife Cassie picked out, and this is the one right here. It was called Harper's Garden in Philadelphia, and it was a pretty simple lunch, but we got some pretty nice stuff, and I wanted to recap it. And one of the things that I'm very transparent about is, view counts on videos. One thing that I'm realizing this year is that I'm not the spectacle kind of creator. So I'm going to stop trying to do all the YouTube-y kind of optimizing. The thing is, you have to kind of get people to click, but it's getting tiresome to, make these thumbnails that people, click on and they don't watch the video. And, I'm more interested in, developing a community of people who want to be here, who want to enjoy food and who want to talk about it. So that's kind of, my philosophy going into 2025. The YouTube stuff is getting old in terms of, trying to catch the audience. But that was where we started. And then I had this pizza battle series that, we started the year strong with. And for reasons that'll come up in a second, I had to pull back on this type of series because for budgetary reasons. And then here we have a back-to-back donut episodes. These kind of tie into each other. This was from our California trip, and we tried different donuts from one from a Cambodian place with the pink box, which is this one down here, Granny's, and then this one was Winchell's Donuts. And this was a lot of fun to put these together. They got decent amount of views, 232, 528. I can't ask for more, and they do get views every day. So, maybe those will be ones that blow up in 2025. Then one of the things I did was wrap up our Philly playlist. We had a tapas meal, which was our anniversary dinner, which was amazing. And then a little bit further up, I'll cover it here. We went to John's Roast Pork, which is arguably one of the best sandwiches in America. We tried the roast pork, which is on the right there, and then on the left, the Philly cheesesteak. So those two videos. So in 2024, I went heavy on travel videos. So we had Philly, more Philly. This was Anaheim, California, and we're gonna hit some more also. So then we continued on with our Italian sub kind of analysis, and I wanted to pick a couple of the places in the area because my area has a pretty strong Italian presence. So I picked one, Ranganese, which is this one right here, which was an absolutely amazing Italian sub. And then there's another one, Savrana's, which was a little bit worse, but for $8 for what they gave you, it was absolutely crazy. And then while I was at Savrana's, I filmed this additional kind of bonus review with pizza. And you could see it's kind of silly how it works out. These barely broke 300. They actually didn't even break 300. Whereas the pizza one, just 3 minutes, broke 436. So yeah, I think going into 2025, one of the things I'm going to do is focus on simpler concept videos. I've seen a lot of food reviewers, and their thumbnails are pretty simple, actually very cluttered, which I can do. And they do more literal reviews where they go to a restaurant, you see them sit down, you see them scan through the menu. Whereas I've been my content moved away from that and more toward kind of like recapping meals. I figured it would cut to the chase a little bit more and, be easier to edit. But what I'm finding is that as far as retention, it hasn't helped retention at all, even though it's funny. It's weird how that works out. But that's that. Those are the Italian subs. And then here was a big one for me. This was the Mac and Cheese Festival. And you could see almost 1,000 views. I was approached around the spring to be a judge for a local mac and cheese festival. And there were something like 25 vendors with mac and cheeses. And this became this big kind of hero video for the channel. And also, I think a series of about 23 or 24, because we didn't get to try all the mac and cheeses. Shorts, I called them Silly Mac Reviews, kind of a riff off of our Silly Snack Reviews, which is approaching 500 episodes on YouTube Shorts. So this was a fun one. And if you haven't checked this one out, you could see I got a GoPro strapped to me here. I had 3 different cameras going. We got so much footage, and we're going to do it again for 2025. And this year I have a little bit better of filming setup, and we're going to do it in 4K this time. So we're up in the quality, and we'll get to that, my philosophy on that in just a second here. Then we kind of went into a little bit of Outer Banks content, and I have footage from 2 trips to the Outer Banks, which I haven't even touched yet. So that's going to be one of the things in 2025. Once the spring hits, we're gonna have a couple videos on that. You don't want to miss those; they're going to be really good ones. And then wrapping up kind of Vid Summit, there was Grimaldi's where I got kicked out for filming, so that was kind of a fun one. And that's not a new detail; that's actually in the video. It actually happens in the video at the end. So there was that one, and then I'm going to scroll up a little. I don't want to spoil, but there's also this Pacheco, which was another Vid Summit video in Texas. So we've gone to Philly, Anaheim, California, Texas in this trip, and you could see already that there's a couple other places. Now here, these 2 videos are actually pretty near and dear to my heart. The day before I was let go from my job back in May, I filmed both of these videos back to back during my lunch break. It was a challenge. I got it done in about 40 minutes. And you could see that edited, they're almost 20 minutes together. And there was a lot of footage that hit the cutting room floor. So those were near and dear to my heart. One of the things I did in the Subway video was they have these sidekicks, which are snacks that were like foot long. I made sure I tried those as well, because this Subway sandwich was gross. And I like Subway sandwiches enough, not enough to pay what they're asking for right now, but I don't think they're awful. I'd rather have any other sub, but if it comes down to having Subway, it is what it is. But this sub, there's some dressing on the Ultimate Italian BMT. That's the standard dressing that is just disgusting. And then what I did was I took all of my OBX tour videos and I compiled them into a larger format video, because what I've been finding is the videos that are recommended to me as a viewer on YouTube are longer. So I kind of wanted to test the waters with that. And it looks like it's getting a decent amount of views. I think once the spring hits and people are looking for more Outer Banks content, that one might take off a little bit more, but we'll see. We talked about John's roast pork, and here we go. Here was a trip that we took back in March to pick up our new puppy in Rochester. So while we were there, we got there around 7:30. First thing we did was stop for a garbage plate. I never had a garbage plate before, so this you can see from the image. I mean, it's edited a little bit to make it pop a little bit, but that's pretty much what it is. It's a base of home fries, mac salad, and then on top there was a burger, a hot dog, a white hot dog, some steak, like Philly cheesesteak steak, and then they put a meat sauce on it. They call it hot sauce, but it's actually like a meat sauce, like a hot dog coney sauce, and then mustard, onions. It was a monster, and I don't know that I appreciate it. I think you might have to be a little bit under the influence to enjoy that one. But I did like it. I don't know that I enjoyed it to its fullest potential. Maybe next time. And then another one. So while the summer was happening, I was dealing with being unemployed, applying for jobs, and you going through that whole kind of imposter syndrome of like, oh my God, is anybody going to look at my resume, and all that kind of thing. Um, we did like a nice little birthday tour for my birthday where we started the night before, and we went to Troy Night Out, which is like a little bit of like an outdoor festival. We had some food there. I got myself a special hat, so that was a lot of fun. And then the next day we did Beer Garden, which they have this 2 liter boot of beer, which I finished for the first time in 14 years, which is pretty incredible. And then we went to this Mexican restaurant where they had a giant cheese stick. So I actually made like a short form. Well, I called it a vertical long video on the channel here, and you can watch that one, and that got a decent amount of views, almost 500 views. Can't go wrong with that. And while we were in Rochester for it was under 12 hours, including a stay at a hotel, we also went to Wegmans and Tim Hortons, which we don't have in my area. So that was kind of fun too. So that's a long short. I'm going to re-release that one on YouTube Shorts now that you can release longer shorts. So we'll do that as well. We talked about this here, the Texas trip, and then back to California. I had 2 back-to-back videos. I wanted to kind of finish out that series, and this is from 2023 travel. So we did must-try eats in Disney's California Adventure, and this one was a lot of fun. The stuff pictured here is like the tip of the iceberg, but they were the chocolatey things that I liked the most. And then we did a breakfast tour in California, and I put together like a guide, like a little 8-minute guide to the places that we tried in San Diego. This was such a fun video. I really hope that you guys take a minute to catch up on some of these. Putting together long form is a lot of fun. It's a labor of love, though. You can see the view counts are all over the place. This one got almost 600. This one barely broke 100. I'm sure a lot of that has to do with the thumbnail. A lot of it is just I don't want to be spending all my time designing thumbnails and learning Photoshop. It's getting really tiresome. Then here's where we really had fun. This egg cream video. I stopped. If you've been following since I've been doing this since 2018. I started doing recipe videos around that time. Actually, there are a few before that, but I stopped doing them around 2022 because there's so much work to put together, and it seems like the audience that comes in for those is a little bit more of a casual audience that really just wants the recipe and wants to go, rather than come to get to know the community that we have here, in the chats and everything, and me. So I kind of got a little bit sick of doing recipe videos, but this summer I decided that I wanted to start testing out filming in 4K. So I'm like, you know what? I've been seeing a lot of videos on egg creams. Let me work on the technique and let me see if I can put together a quick video that I can test out my computer system for 4K footage, and B, would be a recipe that I think a lot of people would have fun with. So that's what we did here. You could see it's a nice little 4-minute video, and I had a lot of fun putting that together. I have my Facebook Meta glasses that I use to get some of the footage for that. So you'll see there's actually like 3 camera angles when we're making the egg cream, and that one was a lot of fun to put together. Then something that happened around the summer was I was approached by a magazine, Saratoga Living Magazine, which is a local magazine here. Actually, my friend Kristen in the picture there, right by my fingers, she recommended that they reach out to me. And they did, and they wanted to know what my dream meal in Saratoga Springs was. And I was printed in the magazine there. You could see me down in the bottom left corner of that. And this is photoshopped a little bit to make the text a little bit larger so that you can read it on a thumbnail. But I wanted to make a video about that because what I did was when I picked my dream meal, I wanted to make sure that I had video content for everything. So it was a lot of fun to kind of make a video recapping those things which had been featured over on the channel over the past like 3-ish years. I want to say Happy New Year to I can't pronounce your name, Glenavos. I don't want to totally butcher it. But Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you so much for popping in. So there was that. But while I was making that video, there was one restaurant in Saratoga that I didn't feature, and I felt really bad about it. So we went to make an entire video about that place, Hattie's in Saratoga, and you could see that right here. This is me kind of testing out a new thumbnail style, where the food is kind of small. I'm in there as well, so that from the outside you know it's me. That I think we might be going with a little bit more as going forward as far as these food videos, because then we have the Mr. Beast Zaxby's collaboration, which is from yet another trip back down in California that we took. And then last week I decided I wanted to make a quick video with some of our Christmas traditions. You could see it's got barely any views, but it's a lot of fun stuff in there. You could see a little bit of what's on my family's table for Christmas, and a lot of fun doing that. When you go to the shorts tab, this is where it gets kind of crazy. I scrolled for 5 minutes and I still didn't get to the beginning of 2024. So there's a lot of shorts. I'm sure I posted somewhere in the neighborhood. I think minimum I was posting 5 a week. So we're looking at probably close to like 200 to 300 shorts that were posted in 2024. Good luck catching up on all those. I would say if you go through the tab here, if you do it on mobile, it'll actually go from short to short. So that might be a good way to do that. I don't expect, one of the things I want to say, I don't expect that everybody who is in this live stream or anybody who watches any singular video is able to keep up with all the videos I put out. This is actually part of the problem that I have with YouTube. You can see I put out a lot of content. That was 22 long form videos, something like 200 to 300 short form videos. I cross post these things to social media, and we're growing at a pretty steady pace. But nothing that I would say, like, we haven't hit our blow up yet. I don't know that we ever will. I kind of will be more happy to foster a community that, people who are discerning foodies who, enjoy the community and enjoy interacting with me and with the others in the community. If I had one goal I would like to point out for 2025, goals, not actions, it would be to kind of grow that a little bit, get some more members to the channel, maybe even develop something like a Discord where, we could share ideas in a more intimate, private setting rather than publicly, even though publicly is fun too. But that's kind of one thing I'm looking forward to in 2025. But live is kind of where a lot of things happen this year. And I've been doing live since 2020, but you could see I have to scroll back pretty far to talk about what live stuff we did this year. And I'm gonna do that. We'll start at the beginning of the year. So this was the New Year's Eve stream from last year with the best bites of 2023. I decided not to do that this year. I might go back and do that in January, but I have other stuff planned, and we'll get to that in a second. But one of the things that happened early in the year was another sriracha shortage. And I noted that on social media, people were complaining that now that sriracha was back on the shelves, it wasn't red. So I got a bottle of the new sriracha and opened it live, and it turned out it was orange. And a lot of the comments were talking about, they were talking about how, oh, my camera settings were off and the colors and this and that. No, everybody online was complaining that their sriracha was brown or orange. It turns out the manufacturer for Huy Fong Foods decided to cut out the person producing the peppers and grow their own to make the sriracha. And in doing so, their peppers were not mature enough and weren't bright, vibrant red enough to make the sriracha in the really, really deep red that it used to be. So if you find Huy Fong sriracha on the shelf, it's getting redder again, but it's not as red as it used to be. And that's not my camera settings. It is, you can see other people on the internet complaining about the same thing. So then I decided to double down on that and kind of get a few different brands of sriracha. On the left here, I had a bottle of old sriracha, and I wanted to see if I could taste the difference. And I also found Whole Foods had the Ninja Squirrel sriracha, and then Tabasco made a sriracha. So I doubled down on that. I'm going to do another live stream this year, kind of in the same vein, because the farm that made the sriracha was Overview Farm. I forgot what the name is, but they make their own dragon sauce, they call it. So I'm going to get some of that. I found Wegmans red sriracha, which we're going to try that as well, and we might try a couple others. But these are fun to do. I like my hot sauce, and my family knows that. One of the first live streams I have planned for 2025 is actually testing this. It's going to be a little bit out of season. It's a Christmas vacation hot sauce set. And we'll do that as kind of a 1-by-1, and we'll do all that kind of thing. So that'll be something to look forward to in 2025. Once I get to set that up. I guess we'll get to that in a second. So we did that. Then I wanted to go through my hot sauce collection. I call it a collection, but I'm working through it. This was a realization moment for me. I have too much hot sauce. I've been hoarding it, and it's time to enjoy it. I've been kind of whittling it down. I think in that stream, I featured something like 38 bottles of hot sauce. It was insane. Here's this video here, Mexico poolside fun in the sun. This was kind of a turning point. I'm going to take a quick sip of my coffee. I'm drinking 7 Brew. I'm not sponsored. I just am addicted to these guys. They opened in my area, and it's amazing. My go-to right now is the Brev or Brevi. I don't know how to say it, but it's espresso half and half, and then I get some sugar-free syrup. It's so good. So YouTube rolled out the ability to do vertical live streaming, which if you're watching this while it's live, you're in the vertical live stream kind of ecosystem. So I decided, why don't I test it out poolside? We had good Wi-Fi. So we did that, and we were on vacation in Mexico. In fact, I forgot to mention one of the features on the channel. We had our Silly Snack reviews, which were weekly. We've been doing Silly Snack reviews since 2021. Like I said, we're approaching 500 episodes on that. We did Silly Mac reviews, which were the Mac and Cheese Festival kind of silly snack review format video, breaking each one down. And then we did a Mexico series where I think the same day as I did this live stream, we recorded poolside tasting some Mexican candies. So we had Silly Snack reviews, Mexican edition. Those were super fun. But I did this live stream and I'm like, you know what? I noticed that while I'm live, I see a lot of people are coming in with this vertical live stream. So let me, do a little more with that. By the end of the year, I ended up being invited to a vertical live streaming boot camp put on by YouTube, networking with some YouTube people behind the scenes. And now I'm a lot more comfortable with the format. So we're doing a little bit more of that. And I think that's kind of the way we're going to go going forward for the most part. Then when we got back, I wanted to do a recap of this Mexico trip because it said it was 5-star, but it absolutely was not at all. There were things about it that were like very luxurious, but service was not great. And that one, I was a little salty during that one. Looks like we have Greg Eckert, one of my buddies from high school. Happy New Year. Cheers to 2025 filled with channel growth, health, and happiness. Thank you, Greg. I'd be happy with growth at the rate that we're currently going. But, obviously would love to see it get even bigger. All right. While I was in Mexico, I wanted to reach out to a few friends to put together some live streams with guests. So first things first, we had the Content Bros who were from a podcast called Egg Foo What that ended in 2024. One of my favorite things to listen to was Egg Foo What, and they stopped doing the podcast. AP Mike is still a good friend of mine. I might try to have him on again, but this was a fun one to do. Then I had my buddy Michael Wheels Parisi, who is starting up again his own podcast, Don't Eat All the Meatballs. He's a good buddy of mine, and we might end up doing some more collaborations together. He called me a week before I got hired with a little bit of an opportunity, and I think I'm going to take him up on it in some capacity, whatever I can. That's about as much as I could talk about that right now. Then we were back on the hot sauces before we had another guest, but I found this little display. I get made fun of for the way I say display. Um, but I found this display with these dollar hot sauces, and as if what I had here wasn't enough, I ended up with like 12 more hot sauces from this dollar display, and we tested them live, and they were very good. There were some great ones, there were some not so good ones, but that was fun to put together. And then we had my friend Ashley, who is an amazing food blogger. We had her on the channel to talk about a little bit what she's doing. She launched a podcast, and we talked about that. You could see her amazing quiche here. If you click through to that video, you can actually get the recipe for that spinach quiche. Her food is always so good. Then I had Big Angelo on, the guy who runs the Mac and Cheese Festival, and this is kind of an overhead shot of the festival. So I wanted to have him on to talk about that. Like I said, that's going to be a recurring theme here in 2025. We're going to do that again. We might even go to some more of his events and make some content out of it. Then there was another sriracha shortage, and then we got laid off, and then this is what happened. So we did some silly snack review live. This was a vertical stream, and we reused that content to make some shorts. We found Sour Patch Kid Oreos, so we tested that live. We didn't do that vertical. You can see my little son Noah there. That was a lot of fun. Then Morgan Spurlock died. Did a stream about Super Size Me because it was kind of an influential movie for me. And then we did a long live stream with some silly snack reviews. And I don't know what happened in that one. We're not fully vertical. That's weird. And then this one didn't do as well as I thought it would. For the 4th of July, we did this s'mores live stream where we used alternate candy bars and alternate cookies to make some s'mores. And then I decided I wanted to start doing food news. And that was when I started kind of brainstorming how I could do like a weekly thing for the YouTube vertical live streaming bootcamp, because I wanted to win all the perks, one of which being this hat. I won this hat. You could see the little YouTube kind of logo there. So I got a hat, I got a lavalier wireless microphone, and I got a tripod for doing all these vertical live streams. So we had food news here. This one here, I was in the supermarket and I was brainstorming, like, why do you need so many varieties of Triscuits? We talked about that. We did a live stream with the greatest food movies because I saw that Morgan Spurlock one did pretty good. So I thought, why not expand that out? And it didn't do very great. And then here was another kind of local thing that happened to me that was a lot of fun. If you caught the live stream last week with the Holiday Spectacular, I had this DJ, BJ, on the live stream, but he had me in studio on Classic Rock Radio asking me questions about local food. We talked about hot dogs. This right here is actually a lost interview. So when we recorded, everything was cool, and I had brought my camera equipment in, and I just set it up, and I had it record everything from the room. It turned out that the audio on that video was probably the best audio I've ever recorded. And it's amazing that I was in a radio studio and it didn't occur to me that would happen. Anyway, so that was that. But when this went to air, it was all dead air. All my audio drops were lost. And he called me up when it happened, and he was so apologetic, and he had me back in. And for that, they those audio that show, which happened I think in August, this was in June. We talked about different stuff. So this interview right here, it has what would have been on the air, and also some stuff that we talked about in between our on-air sessions. So that was a lot of fun too. Then I found these Deadpool pizzas, and I thought, I have this pizza series where I'm doing pizza versus pizza. Why don't I try it with frozen pizza? We've done frozen pizza on the channel before, and let's see what happens. 318 views, can't argue with that. That was a pretty good one. Then we're into the food news territory. I was grinding on these weekly. I still think I want to do them. I think I might look at how to do the formats. One of the things that's going to change here on the channel is how I do these live streams. Right now I'm using StreamYard, and their prices went up in an unsustainable way. So I need to find something else. they're also assholes. So that there's that. Um, then Nikocado Avocado dropped his thing where he lost like 300 pounds. And I have a little bit of a health commentary going on at the same time. So it was kind of something that hit home at the time. So I wanted to talk about that. More food news, more food news. And you could see there's a shift right here. Here we called it food news. Here we started calling it foodie news. What I resisted using the term foodie because I don't love the term. A lot of industry people use it as kind of a pejorative, like in a negative kind of way. So I don't want to be associated with that. And also the local foodies in this area, it used to be that they were jerks. For the most part, they're a lot nicer now, but the jerks still exist. I actually had a run-in with one last year to 2023. So they're out there. They are out there, the jerks. But we're back to using the word foodie. I want to make this a space where everybody could feel like their opinions matter. And we could talk about food. Foodie is a good word for an audience identifier. You could say weekly. We were doing these food news weekly. Then during this one with the Subway, one of the news stories that came up was this espresso tonic, where they took this salted caramel cereal and they poured over espresso. And this was a viral video for Food Beast. So I actually ordered that and we did it live on the live stream. You can see I went for 50 minutes on this. That was a fun one to do. I'm hoping to do more stuff like that. I actually found a format of videos that seems to be working for a lot of different creators and a lot of different niches. And I think I might try to jump on that trend a little bit. I don't like just creating content for a trend, but I can see a distinct area where there's some overlap with what I'm already creating. So we're gonna do that. I was just telling my wife about my idea last night, and I think it's gonna be a good one. We're winding down. I'm running out of voice, so make sure you hit like on the video. Keep me a little bit, a little pick me up. So what I'm drinking here is espresso. You'd never be able to tell because it's white. They put so much half and half in this that it's ridiculous. I don't think I've ever had espresso with half and half until recently. It's pretty good though. Then I started seeing the Hot Pockets, the Hot Ones Hot Pockets in the store. So I was like, all right, let's do that. So I did that. And then last week I found the other one, and you can watch that one here. So make sure you check that out because we don't only try the Hot Ones Hot Pockets, we kick them up. We absolutely kick them up. Then I got tired of seeing all these tier lists without my input. So I wanted to do an ultimate Thanksgiving tier list. And it was fun. I ruffled some feathers. I think it might have been Greg that got upset with me putting corn as high as I did. But it's a fun one. It probably won't get views again until next Thanksgiving, but maybe next year we'll do it again. More food news. This one here, I wanted to do holiday deals. We were going through websites to find good deals, and I think I found a couple that probably would have been good. And then we were up to our holiday spectacular. This year, I decided I wanted to have a couple of guests on. Usually what I do is make it like an eggnog party, and it's just me ranting here alone, just like I am right now. But I wanted to have BJ on, who was the guy from the radio that I just talked about. And then I've been friends with this girl Gina locally. She's another creator. She does modeling and bartending, and she's a lot of fun. Having her on the live stream was a lot of fun in the holiday spectacular. So that was kind of cool. James is here live. Thanks so much for joining, James. I know you're on the West Coast. I wanted to do this one early so I can enjoy the rest of the day here and on the East Coast. And I know you enjoyed the tier list. I remember you being in there. And you think the sparkling juices should have been S tier. That's funny. I don't know that I've ever actually. I try not to drink sparkling or even like soda with heavy meals because it fills me up too quickly. I want to focus on the food. That's what's important to me. And then just yesterday, we actually did a live stream with a frozen pizza that really, really shocked me. I was pretty amazed during that stream. I don't know if it'll get any views. I don't care. I'm really not really big on that. And then another thing that I want you guys to keep an eye out on: community posts. So this is where I get to talk to you guys and I get to poll you guys on things that are important. If I don't just put things up there for the sake of, you know, having a post, I want to ask like actual questions that are going to help me design content. Like, here's an example. Do you make recipes you see on YouTube? You could see a lot of people say yes, and it's almost like 3-to-1 yes to no. The reason why this question is important to me is going forward, am I going to make recipe content here on YouTube? I think this kind of answers the question. Out of 53 votes, 74% of people say yes, they actually do use it. I don't want to make stuff that is not valuable to you. So yeah, I can sit here and I can rant, I can talk all day, but if it's of no service to you guys, there's no use for me to do it. But seeing that people actually do make the recipes they see on YouTube, it's inspiring. Let's put it that way. Another example is here. I actually have a couple of burger videos in the works for shorts. So if you're using the same amount of beef, what's a better burger? A single patty cooked medium, or a double smash patties cooked well done, nice and crusty? So you can see that edges out a little bit more like the West Coast burger. I don't want to go through too many of these because I don't want to give you all the behind the scenes of the thoughts behind in my head. But just know, if you're answering these polls, these types of things are going into content ideas. Like here was another one. I was kind of thinking about, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? And I might look back at this post later on next year and say, all right, Christmas leftovers, what kind of video can I make that would be around that? I pop in with, you know, some updates, hyping up my live streams and stuff like that. You know, this is where we interact. But if we can grow the membership, my hope is to move this into like a private community, like a Discord or something like that. You know, I appreciate the channel members we have now, but I do want to see that grow in 2025. So what's going to change here in 2025? I'm currently starting a new job. I started it 4 weeks ago. Right now I'm adjusting to the schedule a little bit, and there's going to be another adjustment because right now I'm on a general, you know, like Monday to Friday, but I'm going to be on shifts for Sunday through Wednesday. So it's going to be a little bit just getting used to the schedule and figuring everything out. I'm going to try to stay on the schedule of like 2-ish long form videos a month, weekly shorts, and maybe a weekly live stream. The challenge that I have is, I have a family and I want to spend time with them too. And also I'm trying to get back into video gaming and things like that as well. So I have some personal things that I want to do for me. But I'm not going to ignore the channel. I'm just probably not going to spend as much time in the minutia as I currently do, where I'm always going back and redesigning thumbnails and changing things up like that. I'm going to probably pull back on that. I'm probably going to edit a little bit less in the videos, because for me, like I said earlier in the stream, and this is kind of my final point, and I'm going to wrap it up here. What's more important to me about this channel is connecting with people who want to be here, people who, you know, want to hear what I have to say and want to add to the conversation. So to that end, I'm not looking for Mr. Beast viewers, you know, I'm flashy edits and all this stuff. Of course, there's going to be a place for it. You know, something like a mac and cheese video is going to get a little bit more editing that goes into it. The Mac and Cheese Festival, because, you know, it's a festival. I got invited to be a judge for a very, very fun thing in the community. So I think that deserves a little bit more of more attention and a little bit more editing than, you know, something that's, you know, more literal of me trying something and discussing it with you guys. So that's kind of one thing. We want to grow the membership. That's one thing that we want to make. I want to grow the community here, and I want to try to see if we can take the YouTube thing and kind of expand it into other, you know, more interactions with each other. I know I'm on Twitter X. I talk with, you know, James, who's a channel member, and Yanis, who also has been a big supporter for the last couple of years. Also my buddy Greg, who is one of the only, Greg has the distinction of being one of the only people from high school that actually watches my YouTube channel, which is fun to have that distinction. So with that, I'm going to leave you guys here. I want to wish you a happy new year. I want to thank you for all of your support in 2024 and, you know, beyond. Oh, look at this guy. Green Adventures, Eggman. Hide. We get to ban somebody. Goodbye. So we get to ban somebody. Last thing we do for the year. Happy New Year, James. Happy New Year to you. Thank you so much for all your support. And we'll see you in 2025.